Hey everyone! Today's conversation is going to be all about how V-Day is so cliche, so we are going to do it the LovEd way this year. So let me ask you, are you just so tired of all the ways that Valentine's Day has been so grossly commercialized? Or are you one of the millions of people that feel so pressured to pick up these last minute gifts for the ones you love, never really certain about whether or not you got something that they'll love or not, and all that pressure that comes with that gifting, right? Or maybe are you feeling a little bit lonely because here we are at yet another Valentine's Day and you're single? So, today people crave connection in their relationships. And they often cling to Valentine's Day as an event to celebrate or be celebrated. But this extravagant display of affection, these Valentine's Day events, they really do very little in terms of revealing whether or not we're really truly connected with our partner or even happy in our relationship. So I want you to stay with me for tools to revolutionize the way that you love yourselves and others. And we are going to make Valentine's Day one of real connection starting this year. So love is the most important thing in our lives. And yet we are struggling in our relationships because our society doesn't value the knowledge and skills that are absolutely required to have successful love. Growing up, most of us weren't even taught how to have a successful love relationship. And our parents weren't able to teach us because nobody taught them. And so it just keeps going on and on and on like that. And so this is also the cause for why the divorce rate is over 50%. People really struggle so much with love. So let me ask you, do you have a specific and a regular way that you check in with your partner about the state of your relationship and whether both parties are getting their needs met? So hit the like for a yes and give me a sad face for a no. Yeah, so many people fail to check in and evaluate where they really are in their relationship. They make the assumption that things are fine, but they never actually ask their partners if this is actually true. So how would we go about having this conversation, you might be thinking, right? Okay, so even if you're single, I want you to also consider this for your future relationships. All right, so thinking about this conversation, you might be thinking, well, I don't want to get that real on Valentine's Day and ruin all my fun. I'm really looking at my gifts and my chocolates and the dinner and, the way that you usually do it. So if this, in fact, is your initial reaction, it's maybe likely that there is some fear at play here. The goal of a partnership in a relationship is really to be an emotionally safe person for one another. So what does being an emotionally safe person actually mean? It means that you are being perceived by others in a way that it's not quick to judge. You're not being judging. You're not criticizing and condemning or making somebody wrong or bad or punishing them. Being an emotionally safe person means you have the best interests at heart of your partner instead of being judgmental. It also means empathizing with your feelings instead of condemning how you feel. And so these kinds of partners, they give you the benefit of the doubt instead of taking somebody else's side. And they are actively listening to you instead of waiting their turn to speak. So they're seeking to understand you and instead of telling you how it is. And they also accept you for who you are instead of always trying to fix you. It's being someone who realizes that really nine times out of 10, all you really need is a good ear and a really big hug. So let's do Valentine's Day the LovEd way this year by creating an opportunity to be in an intimate conversation with your partner where you can discuss where you're at and how you're feeling about the relationship. So this habit of checking in it's what creates that emotionally safe partnership. So this is how we feel loved and accepted and important. And so this is what we call unconditional love. So let me ask you, how many of you have been in a relationship with someone that you felt was not an emotionally safe partner for you in the relationship? So hit the like button for yes. So why is it that we're seeking an emotionally safe partnership? Like, why is this so important? Because this is where we feel fully loved for who we are. And isn't that what we all want? Yeah, so often relationships, people feel like they can't be honest in their relationship because it's not emotionally safe. But that's what everybody wants in the end. They want to be with somebody they can be honest with without feeling judged or humiliated or criticized or made wrong. Yeah, so we're going to declare being an emotionally safe partner for each other. And we're going to also invite our partners and our potential future partners to join us in this new way in creating emotionally safe relationships. So let me outline for you what is the way to go about having this type of conversation. So I want you to tell your partner this Valentine's Day in advance that you want to create an opportunity to have an authentic conversation about ways that you can grow together. So you want to choose a place with few interruptions, not like a big, crazy, loud restaurant or bar. Something a little bit quieter, maybe at the end of the evening. And there are so many resources online that list out these kinds of questions that you can ask your partner to assist in the areas of identifying the strengths that you have in your relationship and also your opportunities for improving the relationship. So as an example, we have added a powerful relationship check-in exercise as a resource on our website. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that at the end when we start to wrap up. But what you want to do is you're going to download the PDF and you're going to print out 2 copies. And you want to give your partner one in advance so they have an opportunity to kind of review the questions and be more prepared and not be caught off guard about all the questions. So really keeping it light and making this fun. So assessment tools, such as this check-in exercise will really help give you a roadmap for the types of questions that you can really ask each other. So while going through the different sections and the questions, you'll have an opportunity to really reflect on what's working in your relationship and identify what's not working, but in a constructive and fun way. And if you're single, I still want you to go and download this PDF because this will help you tremendously with your future relationships. So let me take a second to read some of the questions on this PDF. So these are true or false questions. So first one is, you may find anger uncomfortable, but you accept that it is healthy and we can find a healthy way to express anger in a safe way. So true or false, right? Another question is, you never blame each other for stress that comes with a crisis. You understand each other. You make time for sex. And you show each other empathy. So these are some true or false questions. So this will give you kind of a little bit of a flavor for how fun this whole list can be. So let me ask you, what do you think about these questions? Does it seem reasonable? Doesn't it seem fun? Yeah, and it's about investing in your relationship and making this Valentine's Day an opportunity to keep it real. So these types of relationships check-ins aren't really only reserved for holidays. It's not only reserved for when things are not okay. This is like an opportunity that you can make a regular practice in maintaining your relationship and having these regular check-ins. And for those of you who are single or perhaps exploring a new relationship at this time or practicing this type of, and being familiar with these types of questions will only help you be prepared for your future relationships and being an amazing partner. Here at LovEd, we promote self-care and personal development. And so we're talking about doing love differently, regardless of your relationship status. And it all starts with our transformational online program called Clarity. the new model for love, which we're going to be giving away today. So whether you are in a relationship or not, Clarity has so much to offer you. For example, another way to get on the same page about strengthening your connection and start assessing is emotional maturity. Really looking for emotional maturity in a relationship, having an incredible conversation about emotional maturity. So this is what we're talking about in the Clarity program. We're talking about taking responsibility for our past baggage and also acknowledging our current approaches to love and addressing our dysfunction. Also addressing our needs and learning how to ask and receive what we need and what we want. Meeting our own emotional needs and practicing self-care. Self-care is so important. And also becoming more self-reliant as a person and compassionate. Learning how to be vulnerable and intimate in order to create closeness and connection. And accepting that our partner is there to be an emotional support for us, but not to meet all of our emotional needs. And also discovering what is important to us in relationships and getting really clear on what doesn't work for us in relationships. So with our newfound clarity, we're able to confidently make the biggest decision of our life, which is choosing a life partner. So we want to also elevate our current relationships in really powerful ways. And we want to become the amazing partners that we would want. So in the Clarity program, we're talking about emotional maturity, and we're talking about looking at emotional maturity on a scale. So not only are we assessing our partners, past partners, potential future partners, we're also able to identify where we are on that scale of emotional maturity and the ways that we need to grow and develop. So we become the partners that we would want. In the Clarity program, we focus on 5 core topics. And those topics are infatuation, sex, romantic attraction, emotional maturity, and ways to grow in a partnership and personally. So to wrap up our conversation today, I want to just talk a little bit about emotional maturity. So we're talking today about strengthening our connection in our relationships, right? Emotional maturity is one of the 2 components that make up a love relationship, but it is the less familiar but more important aspect of a love relationship that we really need to pay attention to. So this is whether we are single or in a relationship. Emotional maturity is what things like Tinder or Bumble do not account for. Emotional maturity is so critical. So emotional maturity is the way that somebody is treating us. It's their behavior, their level of self-awareness, and the tools that they have harnessed and that they're bringing into the relationships or not. So in the Clarity program, we put emotional maturity, like I said, on a scale. And so this is a way to help identify if your partner or potential partner has a significant level of emotional maturity before making big commitments and emotionally investing in a relationship. We don't want to be fooled in love. So our level of emotional maturity can also develop if we have the willingness to grow. So that's what's so exciting about emotional maturity. We can grow it if we really value and understand how incredibly critical it is to the overall experience of being in love and being in relationships. So we can't settle when it comes to emotional maturity, because emotional maturity is the way that we feel loved by our partner. So these are a few of the topics that we are covering in the Clarity program, but the Clarity program is so much more. It also helps us to understand why our past relationships didn't work. It's like some of that stuff was just so confusing, and then we feel like our self-esteem has taken a hit. It's like so many people feel so terrible about themselves, wondering why their relationships didn't last and why they were treated a certain way. And, they have these relationships over and over and over again. They feel so unsatisfying and unfulfilling. But in the Clarity program, we start to really gain a greater awareness, and we come to terms with the cause of our relationship struggles, and we start to learn how to work through them in powerful ways. So Clarity provides us with the ability to never be fooled again by all that strong infatuation that we feel, especially at the beginning of a relationship. When we first meet someone, like we're on all these love drugs and it feels so good and it's so amazing, but we start to identify infatuation as love, where in fact it's just infatuation, which can very often be short-lived. So we don't want to be fooled by infatuation and then become emotionally invested in someone to only discover later on in the relationship, when we're all in, and we have all these ties and we're completely attached, and we've made a big announcement to the world, and then only to find that this person lacks emotional maturity and they're never really going to have the ability to be the partner that we really need and that we deserve. So Clarity really helps us get clear on what we're looking for and what we should avoid in a partnership. So, when we first meet people, we're so wowed, we're so infatuated with them, and we tend to see all of their incredible qualities. And all people are made up of positive and negative qualities, but we can fool ourselves by experiencing the relationship and not really being able to understand and see clearly these negative behaviors. So this is how we make a great choice in love. We have a special awareness about emotional maturity and where these people fall on this scale that we're talking about in the Clarity program. And so if we're currently in a satisfying and a fulfilling love relationship, what Clarity is for you is it will confirm exactly why your relationship is workable. And the ultimate message of the Clarity program is really to understand that how being in a healthy love relationship can be one of the best ways to achieve emotional and personal development in our lives. And also how choosing a partner poorly or in haste can undermine our goals and our dreams, and then deter us from becoming the people that we are meant to be. So relationships can build us up, but they can also endanger our growth. So a lot is at stake when we're talking about love and making commitments. So with Clarity, you become part of the LovEd family as well. With access to powerful tools, we have all kinds of incredible resources for you, so you can really experience the power of our programs, and I can hold your hand and answer all your questions and really coach you through all of the new distinctions that you want to have for your life and your love relationships. And you'll also be invited to join our interactive online community that we've been building for over the last 8 years of amazing people, like-minded people who have all seen Clarity, and they are so committed to doing love differently with self-awareness. So I want to take an opportunity right now so many of you have written in and asked me questions about love and relationships. And so I want to take a minute to answer one of those questions. So the question is, how do I learn how to be okay with not being in a relationship? Wow, that is such an amazing question. How you learn how to be okay with not being in a relationship is that, first of all, understanding that not being in a relationship is just an amazing opportunity for you to start to build a relationship with yourself. Yeah, so not being in a relationship is such an incredible opportunity for personal development. It's an opportunity to check in with your self-esteem and your self-worth and the value that you feel or lack thereof, and getting really busy on developing that and becoming the amazing person that you are. It's also an incredible opportunity to reflect on the relationships of your past and possibly that current relationship that didn't work out. So we don't want to be victims in our life. We want to live powerfully, and we want to experience ourselves as being powerful and in love as well, by taking ownership, by reflecting on that relationship, those past relationships, and seeing how we contributed to the cause of the breakdowns that happened in that relationship. Not feeling victimized, by really seeking and taking ownership, because taking ownership is really our power. We want to feel empowered going forward. So we also want to get busy creating our dreams and getting connected with our passion projects, also contributing to our community in powerful ways, and translating all of our talents and gifts to other people's lives. Also investing in our friendships. You know, our friendships can really take a hit when we're in relationships, right? We can push those people aside, and then, you know, we kind of circle back around. So it's really an opportunity to also reconnect with our friendships and invest in them in really meaningful ways. But more importantly than anything, what it means to not be in a relationship, it means nothing other than you are currently single and you have made the choice to never settle for anything less than you deserve. So I'm proud of you. And that's how you want to be when you find yourself single. After a relationship, it is all about you. So we also spoke earlier about that relationship check-in exercise from the Gottman Institute. This is something that they created called the New Year's Relationship Check-in Exercise. And so you can find that by going to lovedcommunity.com, click on our tab called Resources, and then drop down to where it says LovEd Loves. And you'll scroll down a little bit and you'll see some of the incredible resources that we're offering. And there'll be several links and articles, and you will see the relationship check-in by the Gottman Institute. It's so amazing. And so go ahead and, like I said, download 2 copies of that PDF, float one to your partner, have a chance to get really familiar with it yourself. And so you can make this Valentine's Day really fun, and keep it light and keep it playful, but also feeling really responsible and taking that kind of ownership for your relationship, being great, not making any assumptions that it's fine. So when you go to the LovEd community page, you'll also take a peek at all of our different tabs, and you'll see the products that we are offering and the products that are coming up. And you'll be then up to date with our latest events. When you subscribe, you'll get a notification for all of our Facebook Live events and some of our local free community events, and how we're traveling all over the country, bringing our Clarity program and our trainings to businesses and organizations all over the country. So we're really excited about that, and we want you to be up to speed with us and engage. So whether you watch this broadcast live or not, I also want to encourage you to leave a comment or some feedback below, like in the comment section. And I'd also really love to know what kind of future videos you'd like to have me cover, like the topics that are really, really important to you. So for now, I just want to say that I want to welcome you to the LovEd community. This is your trusted place to learn and grow and know that you are loved. And so until next month's LovEd Live, never settle in life, and especially in love. I had such an incredible time again today. Thank you for the privilege, the opportunity to serve you. I really, really appreciate you. I'm really excited for all of the winners, and you guys go out and have a really great day. Love you so very much. Mwah. See you soon on the next LovEd Live.